So the real heart of any tap room is the bar, and we wanted ours to be the centerpiece, the focus, and the conversation starter. So we actually were able to reclaim a massive piece of wood from the blueberry patch. There was a room in the back that had this beautiful fireplace, a stone fireplace, and this just massive piece of white pine. It was 15 feet long by 17 inches by 17 inches with sort of this chiseled face on it. And we were able to salvage that whole, take it to an Enterprise Wood Products business down in Rhinelander and have it resawn and planed to 2 1/4 inch so that we could create our bar top and one of our high tops from that. And we went through a process of doing some deep pour epoxy, experimenting on how to make the water effect just right. So a lot of 1x pieces of wood back at in my wood shop that have different types of pours and experimenting with the colors and the layers and all that. And we finally ended on a 2-part process where we pour the dark blue, the royal blue as the base, and then a more translucent greenish sparkly color to get the depth effect, and then cover it with the top pour. So we wanted to represent the various lakes in the area to sort of showcase the lakes, as well as have people learn about the area lakes. The bar top really lent itself to Boulder Lake, which is the main lake in Boulder Junction, and the Upper Mantowish River. So we're able to stretch it out all the way up to Upper Dam, where things get wider, and it heads on out down towards the Sylvania Wilderness area in Michigan. And heading up north here would be Fish Trap and High Lakes, which are on a different table. And it's kind of funny because we have this oriented, actually perpendicular to true north. So north in the building is that way, but north on our maps are this way, which is why we have the compasses put in there. But many a Camp Manitowish canoe trips have headed down this river and up this river. We even have our little Easter egg orange canoe to represent Camp Manitowish. A lot of afternoon bike trips from camp over to Nichols Lake and on down the Manitowish River, heading towards the Manitowish chain of lakes, Island Lake, and on down that way as part of the Trout Lake Circle. This bar top is particularly meaningful because it has my home lake on it. So the lake that my grandfather purchased property on back in 1971, built our family place in 1978. So this lake is where I grew up coming up here until I started coming to camp in 1981. So Pardee Lake and Lake Elsa are both private access lakes up north in Winchester, and that's where our family places are. And we spend a lot of time fishing on Pardee Lake and water skiing as well. So we wanted to represent other lakes in the area. Our high top we knew it was going to be long and thin, so that fit well with the turtles, north and south turtles, and Rock Lake, and we were able to identify where the Windman Trails are. So we put a little logo sticker there. We're sponsors of their organization and hope to do some collaborations with them, maybe some sponsorships of some bikes or single wheel races in the future. But this too is the same material as the bar top from that old mantle. So just a beautiful piece of white pine. The rest of these were wood salvaged from the back room. This one's different than the rest. I was able to actually salvage some of the floorboards, and which was a little different wood than those, and made this one Wildcat Lake. Our buddy Scott and Sarah Mundy have a place on Wildcat Lake, so we wanted to give them a representation here in the tap room. So that's actually in Presque Isle, as is Oxbow Lake, and our good friend Becky Jerichowick lives up there. And we've had a lot of folks come in to identify where they live up on Oxbow. A lot of folks live up on Oxbow or have their place up there. And that's really kind of the fun part, is watching people come in and just sort of look around like it's a museum. Some people don't immediately come to the bar. They come and just start looking around at the lakes and like, oh, here's our place, or hey, that's where so-and-so's place is, and it's kind of fun. So these tables were made from salvage from the rafters that were in the back room of the blueberry patch. So these, I think, are made out of cedar. So we have the Greshams and Diamond Lake. The Gresham Lakes are often paddled as part of the Trout Lake Circle trip from Camp Manitowish. If you're driving down 51, you go right by Diamond Lake, so that one's pretty recognizable. Trout Lake is our largest lake in the area, about 5 miles long, and there's a lot of folks that live on Trout Lake that have come in, and again, part of that Trout Lake Circle. There's a great campsite right here, right in the Narrows, and then the next day you paddle on over to the boat landing and head on over to Stevenson's Creek and on up into Pallet Lake, Lost Canoe, White Sand. And this was one of my favorite trips at camp because these are truly pristine lakes. They don't allow, on Pallet and Escanaba, there's no motor craft allowed whatsoever. So they're super clear. You can see down 30, 40 feet maybe. It's really incredible. And White Sand's a great place to take a duff day, hang out on the White Sand beach there and play some cards and get some suntan going. And then High Trap and Fish Trap Lake. Good friend Dave Jenkins lives up on High Lake, has a place up here, which was a great place for us to go when we were camp counselors. Have a day off, go hang out at their place, do some water skiing, barbecue. It was always a great time. And Fish Trap Lake, which was, I mentioned, would come up right in here from off of the bar. It would come right up in here and on up into Fish Trap, which is where Whittig's Point is, which is a great place to go hang out and have a beer and check out the fireworks in particular, because they do a tremendous fireworks display on the 4th of July. So yeah, that's the showcase.